All right, if you're anywhere near the world of public health, epidemiology, or biostatistics, you've heard the debate. It's the big one, Python or SAS. It almost feels like you have to pick a team, right? Well, today, we're going to slice right through all that noise. We're going to figure out which of these data powerhouses really matters for your career. Okay, let's dive in. Look, for students or anyone just starting out, this choice can feel huge, kind of overwhelming even. You've got professors saying one thing, job descriptions asking for another, and industry vets telling you something else entirely. It's a lot to process, for sure. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with how to think about the choice itself. Then we'll get to know our two contenders, Python and SAS. We'll see them in action out in the real world, find out how they can actually be teammates, and then we'll help you figure out what your next move should be. Let's be really clear about something. This isn't just about learning some new code. Nope. This is a strategic career choice. The tool you really sink your teeth into can open up certain doors and kind of set the whole trajectory of your professional journey. Okay, first up, let's talk about the tool that has absolutely taken the data world by storm. It's time to meet Python, which I always think of as the ultimate all-arounder in the data toolkit. So what is Python, really? Well, the best way to think about it is like a Swiss Army knife. It's open source, which just means it's totally free and it's being tweaked and improved constantly by this massive global community. It's built from the ground up to be adaptable, you know? It can handle pretty much anything you throw at it, from tiny little scripts to super complex artificial intelligence. And you know, what's so cool is how all these strengths just build on each other. It's free, right? So that means a massive community jumps in. That community then builds all these amazing libraries, which makes Python incredibly versatile. And that versatility, that's exactly why it's the go-to for cutting-edge stuff like machine learning and modern data science. Seriously, if you've got a problem, odds are someone out there has already built a Python tool to fix it. Now, let's shift gears and look at the other heavyweight in this conversation. This is the established champion, the absolute industry standard in so many important sectors. Let's meet SAS, the specialist. So if Python is that all-in-one Swiss Army knife, SAS is more like a high-tech, precision laboratory. It's a commercial software, and it's built for those high-stakes, regulated fields where things like accuracy, validation, and security are everything. It's not so much about being flexible for any old task. It's about delivering powerful, specialized, and completely verifiable results. And this right here is why SAS is still king in certain areas. I mean, when you're talking about clinical trials for a new drug or official reports for the CDC, you need a tool that is absolutely rock solid. SAS has spent decades building that trust because every single statistical procedure it runs is rigorously tested, documented, and validated. This gives you this unbroken chain of evidence that regulators like the FDA can trust 100%. That's why we call it the gold standard. Okay. So we've met our two main players. Now let's stop talking theory and see where they actually get used in the real world of public health. This is where the choice really starts to make sense. All right, let's do a quick head-to-head comparison. The first thing that jumps out is cost, right? Python is free. SAS needs a commercial license, which can be pricey. When you're just starting, most people find Python syntax a little easier to pick up. But here's the most important part. What are they best for? Python absolutely shines when you're exploring data and building new models. SAS is the undisputed champ for validation, official reporting, and stability.
So, if the job you're dreaming of involves digging into new data sets, building predictive models, or making really cool dynamic visualizations, well, you are walking right into Python's territory.
Just think about it. You could be tracking a disease outbreak using geospatial mapping, or maybe building a machine learning model to predict which patients are likely to be readmitted to a hospital. Or how about creating an interactive dashboard that policymakers can actually use? These are all jobs where Python's flexibility and its incredible libraries give it a huge leg up. But on the flip side, if you see your career heading towards clinical trials, pharmaceutical research, or working inside a big government health agency, then you're going to find that SAS is still the boss. Yeah, this is the world of super rigorous, validated analysis. Submitting data to the FDA for a new drug? That's going to be SAS, because the FDA needs to know that the stats are standardized and totally reproducible. Compiling the official annual health statistics for a federal agency? SAS. Complex biostatistical models for a major research study? You got it. In these fields, its reputation for being unbreakably stable is what matters most. So, after all that, you might be thinking, okay, I just need to pick one.
But what if this whole versus thing is just the wrong way to look at it? What if the real power move is knowing how to use them together?
Picture this workflow. You're a researcher, and you're tracking a new virus. You could kick things off with Python. Why? Because it's fast. You can quickly scrape data from public health sites and use its libraries to map hotspots in real time. This is your discovery phase. It's all about speed, flexibility, and exploration. But then, when it's time to submit your findings to a top-tier journal, you move that clean data over to SAS, and there you use its validated procedures to confirm your results with absolute rigor, creating the perfect tables and reports that meet those super high scientific standards. It's not a battle, it's a handoff, from discovery to validation.
And that really is the whole point. The most valuable people out there aren't just Python programmers or SAS experts. They're problem solvers. They understand what their tools are good at, what they're not so good at, and they can strategically pick the right one for the right part of the job.
So, we've mapped out the whole landscape. We've looked at the strengths, the real-world applications, and even how these two tools can work hand in hand. Now, the ball's in your court.
You know, at the end of the day, the debate itself isn't as important as your own skill and your own dedication. Whether you decide to start with Python's amazing flexibility or SAS's structured power, the most important thing is just to start. The best tool is always going to be the one you actually master. So which journey are you going to start today? Hey, thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments, and be sure to follow for more deep dives into the stuff that matters to you.